Welcome back, and today we're checking out another Team Fortress video. This one is How It Feels to Suffer in Source Filmmaker by LazyPurple. A lot of you guys have suggested this. I guess this is a behind-the-scenes look at how he makes these videos. So let's go ahead and see what it takes to make one of these videos, guys.
So you like Halloween, huh? You like using the silly spells in Team Fortress 2? Well, so do I. But isn't Halloween supposed to be scary? Then what's with all this having a good time bullshit? Listen, man, for your sake, I hope you don't do it. But if you really want a scary time, drop TF2 for a bit and visit its deranged cousin over in the software section. Source Filmmaker! This program haunts me in my dreams, and I know it's trying to kill me. But the amount of glitches I experienced while making How It Feels to Play Engineer, I'm telling you, this shit's possessed! Gather round, all of you. This Halloween, I've a frightful story for you. The story of the time I had to add the Wrangler to a Source Filmmaker scene. My story starts with a prayer. Please, Valve, please update Source Filmmaker so that it doesn't use a 2008 version of TF2. Why do you curse me to manually animate things as simple as picking up engineer buildings and using the Wrangler? But they only responded with Dota Counter-Strike.
Dota Counter-Strike. That's all they could respond with was Dota Counter-Strike. Oof, all right.
I didn't understand. So onwards I pressed to manually animate the Wrangler. The Sentry Shield is simple enough, it's its own model. But this godforsaken laser! This laser has stolen so many hours of my life that I'll never get back!
It's incredible that such a tiny thing could potentially take up so much time and effort. I am just barely dipping my little baby toes into the world of video editing and whatnot, and let me tell you, some of this stuff can be annoying. I can only imagine how he feels doing this.
Listen to my tale of woe. I began by importing the laser, but alas, it was pink! That's not right. It needs to be red. So I googled how to color it. Turns out that it's controlled by what I like to call source spaghetti. But first, a quick explanation. This is a control point. It represents a point in space and can be used to move and rotate objects. Particles usually have very simple control points. Medic's beam has two control points, one for where the beam starts and one for where it ends. However, the Wrangler laser has this third control point that controls its color? And this is where the source spaghetti starts. This control point's positional X, Y, and Z coordinates correspond to the laser's red, green, and blue values using a...
That's a really weird way to build in color to an object, but okay.
Scale of -255 to +255, which necessitates the equation x times 2 minus 255, where x is the RGB value that you want. What? You didn't get that? That's because it makes no fucking sense!
Oh, man.
Even if you don't get it, I got it. However, no matter what I did with Control Point 2, the laser's color never changed! Well, I said, this isn't my first rodeo. Surely I can fix this in a jiffy. But how wrong I was. Firstly, I went into the particle editor to see if there was a color value in there. Eureka! There was! But no matter what you do to it and its surrounding values, nothing happens. Then I wondered, just a moment, the laser is pink. And when a texture is missing in source, the default replacement is pink and black. Maybe the particle's texture is missing or broken. So I asked all throughout town if someone could please lend me their version of every file related to this laser. I imported them into my directory and it was still pink! By then, I was banging my head against my keyboard and finally decided that it's time to concede and verify the integrity of the game cache. Reinstall the whole program and deal with all the bugs that causes. But even then, it was still pink! At this point, I couldn't help but think, ha! All this wasted time being a perfectionist when I could just use a different laser. So I installed this custom laser from the workshop that is supposed to be a Star Wars blaster. It's a model instead of a particle, so it took a while to customize it. It doesn't look great, but it works, right? Wrong! wrong! When the camera looks at the laser from certain angles, it just disappears!
Oh, man.
Then I tried using this laser particle, and I don't even remember what happened with this one, but I assure you it didn't work! So, we're back to this laser. After brainstorming with other SFM villagers, I imported the laser into a different map and realized, what the fuck? Why is it blue on this map? And that's when it hit me. Every map has a different default point where things load in when they have no other point of reference. You can see here that Badwater's default point is somewhere below Red Team's spawn. It has no rhyme or reason. The Wrangler laser has been loading in and using the default point on the map for its control point 2 value. It's a different color on every map, but it doesn't change no matter what I do. So I figured, alright.
Woo! What a pain in the butt, man, for his animations are, you know, fairly long for fan animations, and often they're very, very good, you know, especially like his mouth syncs and stuff like that, facial expressions. He does a great freaking job. And just to think that something so tiny, so minuscule, that is only in a very small portion of his video gave him such trouble. That's... ugh.
My program is successfully reading the control point 2 value, but just not changing it. Alax friend, can you please take my SFM project, move control point 2 to make the laser red, and then send it back to me? He promptly sent me this in response. That's right, his computer couldn't even handle the project, so he had to make a new project that was just the laser on Badwater, which I then had to import into my project, which is its own scary, unintuitive process. But finally, here we are. It works. Despite reinstalling the program, despite verifying the game's cache, despite replacing the particle files outright, my control point 2 is just irreversibly broken. My theory,
That's
there's
rough.
a ghost in my machine. But hey, at least it worked eventually, right?
Stockholm Syndrome.
That's not the only
It's like, I still love you, source filmmaker.
thing I had to do manually. Once the sentry gun is placed, it stops being a gameplay object and just becomes part of the scene. That means that I have
Oh man. Yeah, that means he has to custom animate everything for the turret, right? His kind of custom animate its firing and its explosion, and I would assume it being damaged. I mean, good lord. No wonder he's so good at animations, though. He gets a lot of practice, spends a lot of hours doing it.
have to manually control its shooting, which means manually adding each individual muzzle flash. That's right, I had to copy and paste like 50 sets of these muzzle flashes and then manually tell the program, this muzzle flash occurs 1/20th of a second later, and this muzzle flash occurs another 20th of a second later, and this muzzle flash occurs another 20th of a second later, and this muzzle flash occurs another 20th of a second later, and this muzzle flash occurs another 20th. Then, after doing that, I have to lock each particle to the barrels of the sentry gun individually. Truly nothing comes for granted in this program. You'd think that adding Uber charge
Woo! Oh man, I'm exhausted just watching this.
would be a simple process, but it isn't. The default Uber in SFM is broken for some reason and always flashes like it's about to end. So you have to go download some cube map fixes. Thank you so much, SFM community, and put those in the right directory. Looks good to me, but what about the weapons? And the hats? Huh? That's right, you have to manually change every single model's material that you want to be Uber charged.
Changes their material. I mean, like their actual, like, modeled material. Wouldn't that... I hope he saves a copy of all the originals first, right? Because wouldn't you be modifying the file? Wouldn't that be permanent? I don't know.
And sometimes it doesn't even work! Not only is this a time-consuming process, it's semi-permanent.
Yeah.
Since you're actually changing the files themselves, scary.
So, I mean, I'm sure he was smart enough to save copies of the original files so that he could replace them later, but...
You have to be super careful or else you'll be asking yourself later on, why the hell is this pyro like half Ubered here? See these buildings? They're not actually in Source Filmmaker for some reason. They're like ghost buildings or something. I had to manually add replacement buildings myself.
Oh, wow. Oh, maybe that's because all the stuff in he said it was all locked to 2018 or something, or 2008. 2008, I think he said. Okay, so they have probably made changes to the maps, so the live in-game maps do not match with the maps that are currently in Source Filmmaker, probably. So he's basically gotta update these old Source Filmmaker maps to match current day live in-game maps. Oh my goodness. So he's gotta go through and do some building modeling, huh?
Nothing comes for granted in this program. But you want to get really scared this Halloween? Imagine rendering a scene you've slaved over for hours, and it comes out like this.
Oh.
If you ever want to get into SFM, my friend, please remember the acronym ABAF. All beards are fucked. Something about the way these things are textured doesn't mix well with SFM. Usually there's a fix for these beards on the workshop, but I guess not enough people use the grizzled growth? Anyway, at complete random, the beard will become some crazy neon color. And you want to know something funny? It uses the same color as the Wrangler laser uses via the map's default point. Isn't that funny?
This is the face of madness. This is the madness setting in from too many hours working on a single project.
So what was my solution? Ha! Simple, really. If I render out the glitched frames individually, one at a time, manually, the beard is fine. Sounds
One frame at a time. Oh my god.
simple if not time-consuming. Let's see how many I had to do. 462 individually rendered images just to fix this beard in one scene! And sometimes it's not even consistent. Here you'd think that the color is based on the beard's position, but look at this shit! It's blue in this camera, but green in this camera! Eventually, my friend, I could take no more, and I just asked the guy who fixed the Allfather if he could fix the grizzled growth, which he did. The moral of this...
The mod community for Source Filmmaker is gotta be just killer, right? It's gotta be one of the most prolific, tools for fans to make stuff in, like little films and stuff on their own computers and stuff. So, I mean, the community's got to be killer. Like, it's got to have one of the best mod communities around, so.
Scary beard story is, please don't be afraid to ask people for help. Oh, but friend, I've scary stories to spare. Look at this scene. Simple, right? Well, this is what it used to look like. These lights are Satan. They have caused an issue in every video.
What
For
on
the
earth?
spy video, I spent a full 10-hour day trying to get rid of these lights that would bleed through all the walls. After that day, I knew not to ever try anything with these demon-possessed lights. But in this scene, I had to. I used a program to remove literally every light from the map, and you won't believe it! These lights are Satan! Eventually, a villager from the SFM Discord discovered that you just have to type ent_fire space env_lightglow space kill in console.
How do you even discover something like that without knowing it or without being told? Like, you don't just stumble across something like that. What?
What does that even mean? I'm certain that a ghost has possessed my computer, but it doesn't always make itself obvious. Sometimes the glitches are small, like the time that this blood decal's position didn't update when I played the video forward, but it worked when I played the video backward. And then sometimes when I rendered something, every other frame becomes a blue mess.
Every other frame? What would even cause that? Good lord, man.
Definitely a ghost. And half the time I import a custom map, Source Filmmaker just breaks all its lighting. Classic ghost stuff. This one is fixable, but when even the guy making the tutorial says,
"This is the Hammer editor, and it honestly terrifies me. I can't do anything with this."
I can't say it makes me very
Oh my
hopeful.
goodness.
Of course, the program does make my life easier sometimes. Spline curves are pretty good at automating some animations, but other times they put the spirit of the devil into my characters.
Add spline curves.
Oh my god, call the
my bad.
exorcist! Look at this sentry. I just want it to go from this to this. A 180-degree turn. It's simple. But for some reason, The program thinks that the most efficient way to do this is a freaking backflip! Back you demon! Get out of my sentry gun! Thankfully, the program has a built-in stress relief.
My goodness, man. This really is a nightmare, man. I mean, no wonder the guy's got over 3,000 hours in Source Filmmaker if he's dealing with crap like this.
Whenever I find myself getting exhausted, I just move the character's pelvis to the beat of whatever music I'm listening to for endless entertainment.
There you go. It's the little things, guys. Sometimes you just gotta take a break and enjoy the little things.
Truly countless hours have gone into trying to fix every single little mistake and glitch in all of my videos, but since you've made it to the end of this video, I think I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. There's a mistake in the engineer video, and it will probably ruin your entire perception of it. In this scene where I build a mini sentry on this scout, I don't have the gunslinger equipped in the SFM animation! Hey, it's me. I have a t-shirt now.
Well, guys, that was How It Feels to Suffer in Source Filmmaker by LazyPurple. And let me just say, man, whole new appreciation for this guy's work, because it must take so much patience, so much effort to put these things together. I know these guys do stuff that I just, I couldn't do. I have no idea. I've never opened Source Filmmaker, but I have played with some very rudimentary type of, almost Source Filmmaker-like programs, and it's a ton of work. So, hey, man, props to LazyPurple and all these videos he puts out with as high quality as they are, because it could be just the tiniest things like that laser beam that just sends you up the wall for days. Woo, man. Well, I really enjoyed that video. It gave me a whole new outlook on the Source Filmmaker process, if you will. And yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Let us know what other things we should be checking out. And as always, guys, hey, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for checking out the video. Take care of yourselves and have a great day.